In this video, I'll be going over how to find the best stocks that pay the highest premium for covered calls and cash secured puts in Thinkorswim. Welcome to Adding Dollars. If you're new here, I usually make videos about personal finance and my journey with investing. So if you have any personal finance questions you'd like answered, feel free to leave those in the comments and I'll make sure to answer them. Now let's jump into how to find the best stocks that pay the highest premiums for covered calls and cash secured puts in Thinkorswim. If you're new to covered calls and cash secured puts, I highly recommend pausing the video and checking out the two videos linked in the description below that explain exactly what those are and how to trade them in Thinkorswim. Now we can jump into the Thinkorswim platform and see how to find these high premium stocks for covered calls and cash secured puts. So once you're logged into the Thinkorswim platform, you want to start by going to this scan tab right here at the very top. And once you get to the scan tab, you will see something similar to this. You just won't see this data here yet. And you don't have to worry about either of these. The main thing you want to keep in mind is you want to come right up here and make sure this is set to S&P 500. So right now, I'm going to be looking for the best stocks within the S&P 500. One of the biggest factors for how much premium you get for selling a covered call or cash secured put is based on implied volatility. So what I've done is I've customized my columns here and I've added in the implied volatility column. And basically all I have to do is scan the S&P 500 and I get a full list of all of the stocks plus their implied volatility. And then I can kind of sort this based on implied volatility. So you don't really need either of these parameters, last or implied volatility, as part of your filters. If you have additional criteria you want to add to your search, you can put those in, or you can add additional filters as well. But even if you take those away, you can still run the scan and get a full list of all the stocks with their implied volatility. And I just sort usually by implied volatility, descending. So again, you would end up with this list. And again, some of this data might seem a little bit off because it's after hours. But what you can see here is the current stock with the highest implied volatility of 77% out of the S&P 500 is ENPH. So what I like to do is I like to then go over to the trade tab, put in the ticker with the high volatility, and then you can start to look at the different options chains and what that premium would pay out. So for example, if you see the 9 days out option, and let's say you're interested in selling a cash secured put, and you want to potentially sell your cash secured put at the $200 strike price. So right here, as you can see, based on this data, and again, this is after hours data, so some of it might seem a little bit off, you would get $425 for selling the cash secured put at the 200 strike price that expires in 9 days. And what you can do is you can quickly check how much premium that would be. So $425 is how much you would get for selling that cash secured put. And if you did end up getting assigned, you would need to have this strike price times 100 in your account in order to purchase the share. So that would be 200 times 100 because each option contract is 100 shares. So that is divided by $20,000. And then times 100. So this trade right here would get you 2.12% in 9 days. So you would get $425, but you would be risking, in some sense, $20,000 because that's how much you would need in order to buy the shares if you got assigned. Now we can look at a quick example on the covered call side. So let's say you own 100 shares at the current price, so $227.14. And then you want to sell a call directly right above it at $227.05. So you can basically, let's divide this premium. So I'm using the lower amount here, but usually it's somewhere in between these two values. So again, in this case, you would get $1,410 for selling the 227.5 strike price call, and then divide by the amount that you paid to own 100 shares. So assuming you bought 100 shares right now, that would take $22,714, but that would end up getting you a profit of 6.2%, which is quite high. Also, your shares may get taken away if the stock price goes above, but again, you can learn about all of those details in the 2 videos I have linked below. One additional thing that I've added to my option columns here is what I've called percent premium. So basically, it's a custom script that does a quick calculation of how much premium you would get. So the midway point between these two values divided by the strike price. So in some sense, I would most likely get a premium of some value between 425 and 450 if I sold this cash secured put. And I'm dividing that by the amount that I need to have in my account in case I get assigned on these shares. And as you can see here, I have what that percentage would look like. So that would be a 2% trade, assuming I collected some premium in between these two shares. If you're interested in the custom script for this column, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will find a way to share that with you all. Just a quick example of how you can scan for stocks that are going to pay a high premium for cash secured puts and covered calls. So again, the higher the implied volatility, the higher the premium that they are most likely going to pay. Again, a lot of these stocks have high volatility right now because they are going into earnings season, and that usually increases volatility. If you're interested in seeing a list of high volatility stocks and some of my opinions on them, I am going to be doing a weekly video, most likely every Monday, looking at the S&P 500 and maybe some other stocks and kind of going over which stocks have the highest volatility and what their premium currently looks like. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure to subscribe and like the video and turn on notifications so you know when I post my next volatility scan video next Monday.